He makes me feel like someone important.
You are.
First time, good. Hi everyone, thank you for coming. I feel very amazing because I had this idea like a month ago, or maybe 2 months, to come to US. Didn't really plan anything much, and suddenly I'm here in front of everyone. I feel great. And then tonight, I think I would love to share some of my idea of what I think haircutting. So nothing special, because this is why all my videos never speak, never talk, because I'm not trying to do any tutorial at all, because I'm not trying to teach anyone. But the thing is, I found that it's good to share what I do through videos to inspire people. Oh, you might try something different in this kind of haircutting. That's why I do my videos over the years. And now I'm here, and then Steve being nice to me, treating me very well, and then I see beautiful people here, and then I hope you will like what I trying to share my ideas, and yeah, that's all I'm here for. Thank you very much. Yeah.
More guests, we have more guests coming.
Yeah, you guys know Salon people.
Yeah.
We never know.
Great entrance. Get out of here. What's up, buddy? How you doing?
Huh? Alright, cool. Okay. So I would like to thank you so much for everyone come here, and I don't know what brings everyone here.
You.
And me. Oh, great to hear that. And yeah, I try my best to explain that what I think in haircutting. Yeah. So thank you very much for coming. So Steve.
Ready for the first model?
Yeah.
All right. Come on in. Yep.
All right. Okay.
This is great.
This is Kristen.
Great.
Okay. Have a seat. Okay. Kristen. Sorry.
Yes, yeah.
Kristen. Okay. Kristen's hair is very typical Asian hair. It looks very straight and silky, but she also has some natural wave hiding. This is very interesting thing in Asian hair, because Asian hair looks straight, but the wave hiding inside is not like Caucasian people. It's very frizzy, and it's not like even. Some of them is really straight, and some of them is quite wavy, and some of them is really curly. So it always makes Asian, even themselves, they feel very confusing about the hair. They think the hair is straight, but in fact it's quite frizzy, and always like very whenever the weather is humid, that it will make them feel annoying to have really frizzy hair. So that's why I washed Kristen's hair, because when she came, that she used the straightener to make it perfect, straight and silky. But I want to see exactly how it is, because I like to see the natural volume. And then I dry it naturally without any brush, dry it, because I can see how her hair is naturally behave when she has this length. So what I suggest Kristen to do today is a bob, like a bit of concave shape, because a concave shape is really good on Asian hair, because what usually Asians would concern about their face shape, like 100% they don't like the face shape is too round, too big, or too square. Whatever it is, they don't happy about their face shape. They want to make their face shape look smaller. So this is the idea that Asian always look at the Caucasian figure, the structure, to judge how beauty it should be. How we see beauty, because we always see Hollywood movie star and the fashion models. They're always like Caucasian people, and they look perfect in Asians' eyes. And we always try to look like them. Bigger eyes, smaller face, that make us feel better. So for Asian, it's very important to get a perfect shape, not just from the front, in all angles, to make them feel better with a smaller face. And also, what I always try to do to get a better proportion, because the figure that we have, it's naturally different from Caucasian, because we have bigger head, tiny body. But Caucasian, they have strong body, bigger body, smaller head, longer neck. It looks just like perfect proportion to us. But we always try to get ourselves look like more Caucasian proportion in the figure. So a hairstyle can really help Asian to feel much better in a proportion. Because like a concave shape haircut as a bob, it can easily push up a nice shape to make our neck look longer. Because if you get a good shape to push, that you can see a fuller shape on the crown, more volume, and then get a longer neck, and then with a better shape to frame our jawline. So that's why concave shape, a bob, will always work well on Asian's figure. But if the model has, really like a model look figure, she look good anyway. So it doesn't matter what kind of haircut. So this time, today, that I'm gonna show you what I usually do in the salon with a dry cut technique. Because I don't really like to call my style of skill is technique. Because for me, technique is teachable. But my style of cutting is not quite teachable, because it always depends on the moment when I feel the hair, when I touch the hair, and then I will instantly have an idea what I should do this time on this particular person. So my haircut is not step by step. So if any one of you seen my haircut videos, you can always see I cut a bit of here, a bit of there, so it's not a strategy haircut. But like an experienced chef to cook, they don't really cook with recipe. They just, just testing, and then until they found that this is the right dish to serve. Sometimes it always depends on the person who will have this dish. So it depends on the weather, depends on the market, depends on the person who will have this dish. So it's more like a very, very tailor-made, custom-made. So I don't really have a plan and strategy. So that's why I don't really want to teach people, because whenever I start to teach, people start to learn. So this is very different idea of learning and teaching. That's why I like to inspire people to just watch and think and then try. Because I believe everyone can do the same thing if you understand Asian hair or hair well enough. So everyone can do the same thing. So I'm not any that special to do special technique, but today I'm gonna show you what I would do. That's all. Okay, thank you very much. Because I don't want to put a towel here, because I, especially for a bob, I like to see the connection, the relationship with the hair and the neck. If I place a towel here, that it would just get something in between. I don't really see how it behaves on the neck, on the skin. So I don't like to 整起佢點講? Yeah, I like to see hair on the skin. Yeah. Okay, so cutting cape here. And my way of cutting is quite dangerous. Very risky, very dangerous. So I work under pressure all the time. The crazy thing is, when I start the first cut, I don't really know how we end up with. But I just follow whenever it shows me that I just follow. And then I will listen to the hair, how it moves and behave. Because I think, because I used to train in London from, before I went to London, I was trained in Hong Kong with a bunch of great hairstylists, great hair cutter in Hong Kong. They all trained in London without Sassoon in the 70s, very pioneer. And then they do the traditional way of hair cutting from Sassoon. And then Sassoon hair cutting is really great to understand structure, great to understand head shape, and great to understand how hair falls. So usually I see Sassoon's haircut is for short hair, bob, pixie, that kind of hair. So that kind of length hair is really good and very important to understand how hair falls. So whichever angle and degree you pull, it falls out into a shape. And then if you follow a pattern, a strategy, it won't go too wrong. It's safe. But when hair get that long, hair starting to move, to flow, to flip. So only understand how hair falls is not enough to me. When the hair get even longer, it doesn't have any shape at all. It's starting to have more concern about the structure. Is that too heavy, or that kind of things? When the girls wearing the hair, they, especially long hair, they concern about how they feel about the hair. Because when a girl's wearing short hair, they don't feel the hair. So for a short haircut, I try to make them look good. But for a longer haircut, I try to make them feel good. Because they don't see the haircut, at all. Because even for the layers or the length getting shorter or longer, it doesn't really look much different. As long as they, styling the hair with the curls and, spend a bit of time. So when the hair is getting longer, I have to start to think how to make them feel good about the hair, especially Chinese, Asian, because they are lazy. They will never spend time really on how to make their hair look gorgeous. No, believe me, they don't do it. They prefer something wash and go. Even they will promise the hairdresser, yes, I will take care of my hair, but they don't do it. So I have to consider the minimum work on the hair. Okay, so I start cutting now. I should. Yeah, that would be great. Okay, I love to use my 7 inches scissors because it's easy for me to get in all angle, but it needs to spend some time to feel comfortable with heavy scissors.
What's the brand?
Hikari. It's a Japanese brand. Very, very good quality. For a bob, I think it's very important to get the right frame. So the frame is the first priority I would concern, not the perfect haircut. Because Sassoon way of cutting hair is very precise. So it will always get a perfect haircut, but it might not look good on that particular person. So I think the frame is even important. So I always have to figure out this particular haircut, what is the priority at this particular haircut. So this one that I will choose, this is the most important part. I will start from here.
Kenneth,
Yes?
tell everyone about your shears. Show them your shear case. I've never seen what he has. I've never seen anything like it before. Because of one specific reason.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so all my scissors is the same length, same model. Okay.
So you do only 7s?
Only 7s.
Wow.
Only Hikari. Only 7. And only this model.
Are those,
The reason
Different sharpnesses?
is, sorry?
Different sharpnesses?
That's right. Also, it's because when the older scissors, it gets sharpened for many times, it gets lighter. So the newest one, the youngest one, is very powerful, very sharp. So I use that to cut thick and coarse hair, like when I need to do a very straight one cut bang, I use that, and then I get that one cut, I put it back. I use another one. So it's just like a brother and sisters. And I got engraved each one of them. So I know which is the oldest brother, which is the youngest brother.
Were you getting rid of the date?
Yeah. And then I place it into a certain place that when I pick up, I know which scissors that I use. Yeah, because I get used to this length and weight, and then when I hold this, I don't really feel scissors in my hand, so I can cut, safely. Otherwise, I cannot keep my fingers. I think it's too sharp, and I think long scissors, it's good for me to get in to all angle. Sometimes scissors is too short. My hand and the neck is always blocking where I really want to go. So long scissors can get into more different angle. Because I use the oldest one to cut more like thin hair, like Caucasian hair. But for Asians, thick and coarse hair, I need a very sharp and powerful one. And because I used to do a lot of scissors over comb, because for Asian hairdressing, we do both. Like 40% men's haircut and 60% women's haircut. So we don't really have barber in Asian country. So we have to do both. And I used to do Sassoon way of scissors over comb on thick and coarse Asian hair. So I need a very sharp scissors. Otherwise it will make me very tiring. Yeah. So this is the first section that I think it's most important for the whole haircut, because Kristen's hair is flipped to the left. So this part is more hair than the others, than the other side. So this part is more important than the other side. And this part, if I get the right shape, and then I will developing the whole haircut based on this length. Okay. So I dry it. I wash and dry it in a natural way. Point cutting is good to avoid, that blunt blunt line. I don't really like that line. And I can see, does it really work out as I expected? And I prefer a bit shorter. And more concave. But I think one of the key of my cutting way is body movement myself, because I have to keep moving. Because if I don't move, my eyes cannot see. Because I see a lot of hairdressers, they just stand still and just moving two arms. And then they can't really see all the angle. So my way of cutting, I keep moving my eyes, the eye side, is it eye level? Because it's very important that I get the right frame. If I don't move like this, my eyes turns like, so I got the wrong idea of. And I always leave it longer than I expected. And I will show you, after I cut the frame, I will use a water spray to get it wet and then dry it again. Because it will behave different. Because when I dry it, before I cut it, it was longer, like this. So this part actually pulls straighter. Yeah, the weight is, at the back.
Like this.
Yeah, later. Okay, thanks.
Kenneth, why did you choose this time to cut her hair dry, not wet?
Sorry?
Why did you choose this time to cut her hair dry and not wet to start? Just curious. On the video, they go wet hair.
Because when the hair is wet, it sticks together. So I like to see more natural texture. Yeah. Because when hair wet, I can't really see the shape. I can't really see how it is. So all hair it seems like the same kind of hair. And I always suggest to people about using hair dryer, because I always say we're not controlling the hair dryer, we're not controlling the air, we're controlling the heat. Because the heat, it's changing the hair. So that's why we use straightener, hot tongs, hot rollers, we're using the heat. But the heat from hair dryer is indirectly touch the hair. It's just like delivering the point that where you want the heat is on the hair. So when I use the hair dryer, I always thinking I'm controlling the heat. But with the hair, with the air delivering the heat to the hair or the scalp with different pressure, it will also change the hair itself. This is the first time I explaining what I do through the doing. Yeah, the first time. I usually not saying anything, just cut. But can you see the frame? Very simple. You just pop it, and then you know how it turned out after you wet the hair and dry it again. But it's very important is the second part of this haircut. That was the first part, and then we have to do the second part after we dry it. That is the most important part as well, because the frame is important, but how to finish with a perfect smoothness is very important. Okay, so what I do now is very simple. I have a concept of a head shape with like and orange without skin. 點講? Orange without skin. You see the shape? It's just like, you know, the head shape. So one point, and then the section is like not a parallel, like an orange shape. So I start from here, this point. And then I can see exactly what the haircut structure is that I've been doing. I like to do it slow, but I usually put a fast 快鏡點講? Fast motion in my videos, so it looks quick, but in fact, I do it slow. Because when you do dry cut, I see a lot of people, they do dry cut, especially like Japanese stylists, they like to do too quick, too busy. You don't have free enough space and time to think too quick, because you will focus on performing, you as a professional and expert, but too busy. So I like to do it slow, and then I can see exactly how it behaves. Because when you do it slower, you do it really precise, straight to where the problem is, it will get even quicker to finish the haircut. And my fingers, how to hold scissors and comb is very important too. So it needs a lot of practice to be flexible, to work individual with 10 fingers, not 2 hands. And what I will do now, because this is a concave haircut, so I have to lift the front longer and heavier to make it look good. So I will lift the length to the back. And I still can see the previous cut. Towards the back, because if I put it like this, it would be too short. So I go back, get a longer distance to lift some length. So you see, it's important that how you move your body. Because if the body is not flexible, your shoulder is not in a very good position to move. So like playing basketball, tennis, you have to get yourself ready to move. Otherwise, if you stand like this, all your weight, it will straightly through the heels on the ground, and then you don't move. You only move these 2 arms to move. So it's not good enough to go with the hair, how it flows. It's because when I cut hair, I don't really have an exact angle or degree where I should pull. I just go with the hair leading me where I should go, because I know the head shape, and then I know the area how hair will move, because an orange shape haircut concept that you will know this part, like the orange, this part will only move here. It will not go back here or here. And this part is moved here. So another idea of my cutting is only two types of haircut, no matter what sort of length. Forward and backward. So forward is like layers to go forward to show the layering. Backward is something like more classy hairstyle. It's go backward. It's supposed to go backward. So even for a guy's haircut, if they like to wear the hair all back or that kind of classy, gentleman hairstyle, it go backward. But if you want to do something like Justin Bieber of hairstyle with fringe, it go forward. So I use two different concepts to work out on all kind of haircut. When hair is go forward, I will use the orange section concept. When hair go backward, I use the circle, like circle. I believe you understand what I'm talking about. It's just like circle, because I would take all the section horizontal when I go backward with a circle section. It all depends how you over direct to different angle to create different layers. So for me, it's very simple, backward or forward. So for this haircut, it's forward, because it should move to the face, towards the face, and still showing the nice layers. Yeah. I don't know whether that my poor English can make you understand what I'm trying to say. I'm trying my best. Sorry. And now you can see why I don't speak in my videos.
I like the concept of the music. It does make it fun. One time people talk, one thing, but you hear the music, it's soothing to watch you doing grass.
Thank you. Okay, so sometimes what I would do, I will bend the hair, because dry cutting is very different from wet cutting. Wet hair cutting is strictly to the point where it starts and where it should end up for. So it's a straight line thinking, straight to the angle where you want. But dry cutting, because the hair is dry and slippery, so you cannot really get the hair like wet hair, because when the hair is wet, stick together, it's easy to control. But when hair is dry, slippery, and then the good thing is you can also use the curve idea thinking to bend a little bit and see the previous and where the problem is. Because what I found is sometimes bending the hair to cut, you see different things. It's very hard to explain what it is. But once you try on dry haircut, except for just pulling it straight to the angle where you want, then you will find that is a different. I just place it in between the comb, place it, no tension at all. Dry cutting should not be any tension to pull. Place it. And your eyes should always focus on the previous cut. And you can feel it. so difficult to explain, but once you do it over and over, that you really can feel the hair and what you are doing. And I've been addicted to, you know, playing this game with hair. So each cut that I choose, that I do, it doesn't really relate it to the previous cut or the next cut. It's a totally individual idea of where I finding the problem is. So this cut, I see this, it's not smooth. I point cut a little bit because I think it will work. I use the small teeth, less space, more precise. But if the hair is too thick and coarse, I will use the big teeth, more space. But with Kristen's hair, small teeth is good enough. I like to use big section because it's good for blending. Because if we do hair cutting like small, tiny, thin section by section, it's very easy to create like mistake each one, and then combine together, it's totally lose control. So big section on dry cut hair is easier for you to control the whole shape. And I like to stand and move around to see different angle, because when I stand here, I can only see this part from the bottom. But when I stand here, I cut the same area, but I see from here. Because now I have the whole part of the top part, I use the big teeth now. And keep checking the ends, the previous section. And then you will see. So this is a haircut without any round brush shape. And now I'm going to finalize with, you know, this part. I use sharp scissors to do it, because especially for Asian hair, we have a very challenging hairline, the growth line. It's always like so difficult to, So it all depends on that person, and then you just work out whatever you feel like it will work out well. It doesn't really matter, because I never aim for a perfect line. I aim for a good shape. Doesn't really need to be a perfect shape, but a good shape. And then you're happy about it, which is important. So you remember that I said every cut it's an individual decision. It doesn't really, I change my mind all the time because this is what a dry cut is good for. You can always change your mind. You think it doesn't work, you think something is better, go for it. Sometimes I will do a lot of undercut for the hairline trimming. So we have to understand the weight and the hair texture. So to me, hair cutting is more like a sport. I think the attitude of cutting hair is very important to keep you moving. More like an athlete. You're never happy of what you can do. I'm never happy of what I can do. So I never see myself as a teacher or anything because I'm always a learner. I always learn from the hair because it beat me all the time. So difficult. I make mistake. Sometimes I really in a big headache of wrong decision. So I don't like to teach because I don't like people to learn. But if you think it does make sense to you, try. And you will find that it's not as difficult to handle as you thought. And then you will find it's much more fun. And I always ask myself, why not? It's very important to ask yourself, why not? I can just, if you think it works, do it. I do crazy thing on my clients' hair. That's why I have to be a salon owner. I have to. And I train my staff the same way. I allow them to make mistakes. And I always advise them, making mistakes because of not experience enough, that is a good mistake. But making mistake by careless, that is a wrong mistake. That is not good. But if they make mistake just by not experience enough, I congratulate them. I said, good, you learn.
You won't do that again.
I hope so. I hope they don't. Okay, almost done. This is a very, very difficult haircut to handle when I was younger, because I always see a lot of great bob haircut that was done by some great hairstylists, and I was thinking, wow, that looks really amazing. And how do they do it? And then I found this is a stupid question because I will never get the answer because I will not call up. How did you get that? What is the section? I will not get that answer. And then I suddenly have an idea. Why should I care about how do they do it? I should ask myself, if I'm going to do this haircut, how am I going to do it? And then I will start trying and then try until it works. Because this is for me, is a very motivation way to start thinking, start trying, but not asking a stupid question without an answer forever. So this is what I tell myself and keep myself trying. Okay, so without hairbrush drying, this is a natural fall bob haircut with a dry cutting. So this is what I think it's important to get the perfect frame and then try to work out with the total balance. And this hairstyle will look perfect if you do blow dry. If you use some straightener, it will look perfect. But this is very, the organic way of Asian to wear the hair. And a little bit imperfect here, I can show you what I would do sometimes. It always works works well with Asians with the thinning scissors. This part, because I see a lot of photo shoot work for a perfect bob. It always aim for a perfect, curve and stuff. But for Asian, it's so difficult to really get that thing on their hair. So I would choose to use a soft finishing rather than a blunt, unperfect, that kind of finish. So I would use my thinning scissors. I don't want to cut too much on the top part. So here, to soften. But a good thinning scissors is very important. Otherwise, it's just pulling the hair. It's just hurting that person. Or even, if you like, you can texturize a little bit with the thin scissors or point cutting. It doesn't matter. Whatever you feel, it will work. Because this is a very effective way to work during a busy time. Otherwise, if you spend an hour or an hour and a half to get a perfect bob, sometimes it's not realistic. So this is a natural 4 concave bob with dry cut.
Gorgeous.
Okay, thank you very much.
Like when you bend the hair, I do that all the time, especially on curly hair. And another thing I do is, I noticed on the ends, especially with curly hair, especially if I'm doing layers, I curve when I cut, and it enhances the curl more. I notice. I start doing the same thing. I always do my own thing.
Yeah, I think.
Second look.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll talk to you later.
Very nice meeting you.
Thank
though.
you.